What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the LetDirtFly YouTube channel. As you can tell, it's early in the morning and I'm a little groggy, but we have an exciting video planned for you guys today. So today we're going to be taking our brand new, to us, 2019 Can-Am Outlander 650 XMR and turning it into a mud beast. Now, in order to do that, we're going to need some parts. So somebody's got to get sacrificed here, and that's our little 500 Outlander. This thing has been a great little quad. This is my fiance's machine, but it is lacking in the power department a little bit. I was going to swap the 650 out of my quad into this, and I have the harness and everything to do the job, but it just didn't make sense financially to do such a thing. I'm actually going to be selling my 650 engine on eBay or somewhere like that just to get rid of it. So everything on this quad is coming off and we're going all onto here. So the wheels and tires, those guys are getting transferred over. They should fit exactly the same. The handlebars are going to be getting swapped over. I don't think, as you can tell in the video here, these are going to match too good. So these are going to be going with the quad, unfortunately, but the handlebars themselves, they're coming. They're actually going on this beast as well. When we have the handlebars off, I do have to get rid of this guy here, although it is really cool. We got to be putting a mud strap on this thing, so plus we're not jumping it, so we don't really need the handlebar brace, but those are going on. We also have over here my CV Tech primary that we're going to be tuning and getting on this sucker, because the other day when we ran this in the mud, it was only turning 6,600 RPM, which is not good. This thing should be singing around 8,000 to 8,200, and when she was bogged down in the mud, she was turning like 66, so not good. So to complement the clutch, we also are going to be going with a tune on this machine. Now, normally what you would do is you would send out your ECU to somebody like Mr. RPM or something like that if you have one of these earlier quads that doesn't have the electronic throttle, and they can put a tune on that'll raise your rev limiter, and it'll also do fuel corrections this way you can run things like an exhaust and whatnot. But for me, I had my 650 ECU sitting around, so this has been tuned by Mr. RPM. It was previously tuned by somebody called Ray Parker, but I ended up, that tune was not good, so I ended up getting it switched to Mr. RPM. So I just gotta pop this guy out. I was just waiting to clean this up because you don't want that stuff to get into our ECU plug. But we're gonna throw the ECU into this thing. It should work. We're gonna find out, hopefully. If not, then I will have to send this thing out and get the ECU actually tuned by somebody like Mr. RPM so we can get our shift out correct and get this thing ripping in the mud. Now, the very last thing we're gonna be doing today, it's a pretty simple one, is we're gonna be adding a little bit of a tether cord here for our key. So this is something Seth and I always do. But basically, I always just drill a small hole in the DH cluster here, and we attach this guy like that to the key. So this way, if you're in the mud, you can accidentally knock this sucker off. She's not going nowhere, so you don't have to go swimming for it or anything like that. So right now, let's pull both of these quads in the garage, start stripping this one down. So this one's actually going to be the donor, like we said, for that one, but then also this thing has to go completely back to stock because I'm going to be putting it up for sale. So we got to make sure that everything is looking good. I'm actually going to pull off all the plastics, go over the entire quad. It hasn't been a mud quad for too long, but I want to just go over this whole thing, make sure it's good for the next owner. I actually have to pull out the lift kit also. I'm just going to be doing that because there's no need for running a lift when we're going to be putting the 25-inch tires, big tires, back on from that came with this thing. I actually still have them. So we're gonna be doing all that, and this thing's gonna be good to go. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and get these wheels and tires off. All right, let's get this sucker jacked up here. We're gonna be throwing these bad boys on. Yes, I'm missing a hubcap, thanks Seth. He lost that down at Busco. So you can see these aren't too much taller. These are technically 30s, but the cryptids that come on the stock XMRs are actually not a true 30, so it is taller. Probably good by a good inch and a half. Let's jack up the rear, get the rears on, get the fronts on, and continue at it. Alright guys, so as you can see I got the side panel popped off here. I'm going to attempt this ECU swap. So I'm not going to fully swap it in just yet. I'm just going to plug it in, see if it works. If it doesn't, as far as like key recognition and stuff, then I'm going to swap the key and the module out up here. And if that doesn't work, and we still need the dash, I have my dash and everything. I just try not to have to put my dash in here because this has 500 miles and mine has like 700. So I want to keep the mileage of the quad itself the same. So now anytime you're working with the electronics, I'm going to blow all your mud out first, because we don't need that getting in our stiff. Here's my ECU. We're just going to plug her in and see. It's easy as that, if it works. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, key on, high. Let's see if it recognizes the key. Maintenance required. Hang on. Bad key. Okay, so let me go down back. Let's grab my key out of my old 650 stuff and see if that'll do it. Now, worst case scenario, I also do have the module here. So worst case scenario, we gotta swap that out, but I'm gonna go grab the keys for my old girl and see what happens. All right, got my other key here. Let's put this on, let's see. So I'm not too sure how the desk system works on these, so clearly it does go through the ECU somehow, but let's see if it actually goes through the actual plug here. Let's see here, high, okay. Maintenance required, I'm aware. All right. See, performance key. It senses it. Let's see if she fires. There we go. Now, one important thing I want to see if it works is four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive seems to work. Sweet. All right, so everything works. When I swapped my 650 out for the 850, I had to swap the whole harness and everything because the four-wheel drive wouldn't work, but everything seems to work. So now we gotta go ahead and actually swap out the ECU here because, well, it's just dangling here. All right, awesome news. Everything works, and even awesomer news. The dash stays. So still reads that we have 590 miles on this sucker. That means I could technically put my dash back into my quad with the 850. That means everything should technically work and it should show the actual mileage that my quad has on it. So that's really, really cool. So now we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull the exhaust off of the 500 here. We're gonna throw it on here real quick. That should only take a few minutes. We'll be making some noise and then clutches, and this thing's gonna be dialed in. All right guys, time to put the exhaust on this sucker. So on the other quad there, we had an HMF Swamp Series. They're pretty good exhausts. They're definitely actually, I think, one of the quietest aftermarket exhausts you can get. It's exactly the same as their Titan series. Now this isn't the XL, so there's an XL version of this also. It's much, much louder. This is actually probably one of the quietest aftermarket exhausts you can get. Especially that we've heard. It's a good exhaust. My only problem with HMF is that you have to send in the exhaust to get serviced. They won't sell a repack to the public for some reason, even though I'm more than capable of drilling out these rivets, repacking everything, shove it back together and calling it a day. They just won't do it for some reason. But this is exactly the same as their Titan series. The only difference is when you order a Swamp series, it actually comes with a exhaust snorkel, which is kind of cool, which I actually have from my other exhaust, which was a Titan, fine enough. The other big difference is they only come in stainless because they say the ceramic coating for like getting the Blackout series won't last in the mud. Mine actually did all right. I never had any problems with it. It did get discolored, obviously, like any exhaust like this thing, as you can probably see. That still has Busco Beach on it. But yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead, throw this sucker on there, make this thing make some noise, and then clutching next. So the other thing I don't like about the HMF is they use this bracket. It's a universal deal. For some reason, they just didn't want to make an actual exhaust for this quad, it seems like, as far as changing up the can, because it's basically the same design on every quad. But they didn't try to even utilize the stock mounting locations. So you have to use this big old bracket and mount it up in the quad here, which is a pain to install and uninstall that I just did over there. I'm out of breath from getting that exhaust off. But so first we gotta install this, then the exhaust can go on, then we'll be good to go. All right, of course we gotta test the exhaust and see how it sounds. Finally got the thing on, by the way. What a disaster trying to get that on there. I hate the design of that exhaust. Yeah, sounds like my old girl. Sweet. All right, we're making some noise. Now let's get some clutching on this thing. All right, clutching time here. So got her all opened up here. Got my belt spreading tool. Just need a 13 millimeter, which should be this guy here. And we'll take the belt off. Now, normally when you're doing a clutch upgrade like the CVTech we're throwing on here, you're gonna wanna throw a new belt on, break it in properly. For this video, I didn't get a chance to go get a belt, but don't worry, we're gonna swap it eventually. So still gotta pick that up, but what we're gonna be doing here is this secondary clutch is perfectly fine stock. They're actually pretty decent right out of the factory, but we're gonna be throwing a stiffer spring in the secondary here. And this is gonna help us get our RPM up in order to reach our goal of 8,000. But then obviously paired with that, we got the CVTech primary here, which we're gonna remove right now. So this just takes a 3/4. Then we gotta get our tool. All right, now you wanna be careful taking off your stock setup because there is a lot of stuff in here. There's a spring, obviously, a good bolt, and then we also have, you don't want the one-way bearing to come out. So if you rotate this here, there's a pair of springs and some pawls, like these little things that come out and grab that. That's our one-way bearing. We don't want to mess with that, guys. So let me grab our clutch removal tool. So this is my EPI one. You can get a couple different brands, but these are made of a better steel. You don't want to get the cheap Amazon ones when you're doing this because they can break. You want to get something pretty quality. Now, when we have the CVTech on, we have to actually use a longer puller. And it helps us remove the CVTechs. They're a little bit different. Same thing with the STMs. Same tool, actually. So let's go ahead, throw this guy in here. Until she touches, and then just like that. This can go in a box for one day, and we have to put it back to stock when we sell this thing. Hopefully not. All right, so here's our CVTech here now. When you go into the CVTech, you're just going to want to use just the stock bolt, and then also just this guy. You're not going to want to use the washers or anything that are there. Now, technically, these are torqued to yield bolts, and you should be replacing them when you replace your primary clutch. But I have done this hundreds of times, never had any issues with the stock bolt stretching or anything. So we're just going to go ahead and use this guy. We still have to set this up because right now it's set up for my 850, but I'm just going to install it first, and then we'll do the setup on the quad. Now when going to install this, we're going to use some valve lapping compound that you'd use to lap valves for an engine. The reason we do this is we want to make sure we have the best mating we possibly can between the crankshaft that's down there and our clutch right here. So right now I'm gonna grab some valve lapping compound. We're gonna lap her in here to make sure we have a nice, good mating between the two. And then we can actually get her on there. All right, so we're just gonna use just a little bit of this. Try not to get it into threads or anything because this will chew up your threads. But just enough on there to cause some abrasion. We actually want abrasion, funny enough. And a little bit in here, not much. All right, and all we're literally gonna do is give her some spins like this. This will allow the clutch and the crankshaft to meet. You'll actually feel it start to, you hear that grinding noise, you'll start to actually clean up a little bit. All right, starting to sound better. All right, let's pull it off there. There we go. All right, now we just take a paper towel and clean all the valve lapping compound out. That's literally it. That'll make sure that you guys have a nice, good, solid connection between your crank and the clutch. You're not gonna accidentally, if you're in some bad mud, chew up. You can actually see how it marred up the surface a little bit to make a good connection. But this is gonna make it this way we don't accidentally ever spin our clutch on that crank and destroy it, because that means you're pulling the motor and replacing the crank, which is not fun, as you can probably imagine. Boom. There we go. Now we gotta torque her down.
Hey guys, I finally made it here. Finally, you know, I told Marshall we were gonna get
Quad's
here.
already built, but that's fine.
Hey, I told you late morning, so. But yeah, so we are at the point where we have to tune the clutch, so.
All right, so we got the CV Tech on now. I got it torqued to spec. I believe actually torque the specs like back 78 foot-pounds or so. Torqued it down. Now I actually have to take the bolt back off because we're going to be changing out the spring and weights. Just as a good start and baseline, we kind of know this 650 now between doing Jill's quad, which is Seth's wife's quad, that's 650, and then also my 650. We're going to start with a 10-12 in this quad. So it has a lower starting rate and a very high finish rate. What that means is our engagement and our mid-range should be pretty low. It's not going to make much power down there, but it'll feel comfortable on the trail. But then when we whack the throttle wide open, it should come up hopefully to our goal of 8,000 RPM. Now if that doesn't work, we also have what's called 10-17 spring, which is the same finish rate, so it should still get us where we need to. It's just the mid-range and the starting will kind of change and everything. So we're going to play with that a little bit. We also have some 14-gram weights we're going to start with. This is actually a little bit heavier than I would like. I'd probably want some 12 grams to start with in here, but they're actually in Seth's wife's quad. So if anything, we're going to be drilling these. We do have a scale back there. We'll be putting these guys on. We'll get them all weighed out. First, we just wanted to get a baseline, throw everything in along with our white EPI secondary spring, and that should at least get us in the ballpark of at least the high 7,000s to start, so we know what we got to do, and then it's just fine tuning from there. So right now, let's pop off the secondary because that's the most fun part. Okay. And yeah, because you got to wrestle this guy to get back in. And well, let's get this guy in. So. All right, so when you're taking off your secondary on these quads, you got to be careful because you have all that spring pressure coming out at you. Now, if you have an STM secondary, don't got to worry, that's a concealed unit. But this is all kind of mechanical, whatever. All right, so now we got it coming off. You're gonna want to hang on because the stock spring isn't that bad.
No, stock spring.
But when you have the EPI on there, woohoo, she's a feisty one. So here's our stock spring noted for future reference, Marshall. Black with the orange goes on my 650, not on that one that I accidentally have in there right now. That's fine. All right, white EPI in. Make sure she's seated all the way. And then here comes the fun part. Let's see if I'm gonna do this by myself or if I'm gonna need Seth's help. Probably gonna need Seth's help, but I'll try it myself here first. You also have to try to line up your helix, which is
the pain in the ass part.
The secondary pain in the ass part, besides pushing very hard.
I actually find it harder to
They get that first try. It's close.
Back out and push it out. Doesn't go back in.
Let's see if we can start that. Started?
Yep.
Whew. All right. Now, you just want to kind of reach back here. Now, right now, I can feel that this is not lined up. So we have to try to get to line up here.
So also, Can-Am does recommend, and a lot of people also do recommend
the bolt replacement.
Yes, change
every time
you. Oh, you already talked about it?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Every time you take that off to change the bolt out.
I didn't mention. There we go. Now you can tell when she's engaged because it'll pull in all the way, and obviously everything's gonna line up. So.
Money.
All right, so just gonna give her a couple ugga-duggas. I believe this one's torqued to about 30-something foot-pounds. I usually do like 45, 50, just to make sure she ain't going nowhere. So let me I have a special holding tool for this guy so we can torque it. Then we gotta pop the cover off that, do a spring and weight change, take her for a spin. All right, now before we put the belt on, we're gonna go ahead and pop off the cover here for the CVTech. Now I'm not gonna go ahead and retorque this stuff yet until we fine tune everything. So we're not putting a big load on the quad just yet, so I'm not worried about it spinning or slipping. All right, take this nut off here. And now you're gonna wanna kind of hold the plate together like this. And here's our spring. I think I have a 1021 in this sucker right now, which is pretty stiff. Yeah, 1021. That's a little spicy for this. I mean, it would actually work great, funny enough, but a little spicy, Had that in my 850.
Is this the one?
That's the 10, yep, that should be a 1012. All right, but first, so we can just kind of put this in place. I actually don't know if there's a preferred direction, but I always put the more coiled side, because certain springs have a little bit more like coilage going on one side than the other, so I usually just put that to the inside. But we gotta pop this cover open now here. So the weights that are in here are gonna be way too heavy for this quad because it's a 650 and I have it set up for a 850 right now, so not the same power. So here's our weights, but we gotta go ahead and pop these out. I actually did what we might have to do at some point today. We're not sure yet. Hopefully not, but I did what's called the penny trick on these already, which is essentially just throwing some pennies in there to add some extra weight. To change out our weights here, it's really simple. Well, actually, we're not even changing them. Funny enough, I do have the 14s in here already, but I added pennies to get my RPM correct. Like I said, we might have to do that, but you literally just push through the back to push the weight out, and then you push her in. Simple. CVTech is super easy because of that, and that's actually why we love these things. They're super easy to modify and tune, and they work great. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead, throw our clutch back on here. You'll feel that tension's a lot more now than than a stock setup. So like I said, we're just gonna reuse the belt for now. Normally I would throw a brand new belt in here.
That's a complete lie. Marshall is cheap as shit. He never.
I replace them. I know I do.
He takes one out that he burnt up from like a year ago and puts it in.
No. Well, hopefully.
Dude, you ran that squeaky belt 6 different times.
It's fine. It's still working, isn't it? All right, that's all set to go now. Now the only thing we have to do is take her down the driveway, see what she does. Right. See what she does in low and in high. Yeah, see what she does. Right. So, we're drilling out our weights because the RPM was only 7,400. So.
All right, guys. So we have drilled these down to 11.5 grams.
Yep.
So we're gonna give that a shot. It might be a little too light, and if it is, we'll just
add pennies.
Add a penny. All right, guys, we drilled the weights down to 11.5 grams. Believe it or not, that ended up perfect. It's sitting here shifting at about 8,100 RPM, so she's good. We're putting the belt cover on, and she's ready to go.
So we did find some broken stuff actually on this. That's a good thing I didn't go too deep the other day. It's actually missing the plug there. It was plugged with some mud.
Yeah, it was plugged solid with mud.
For the drain line, so unfortunately I don't have any of those handy this second, so we're actually going to shove a gigantic bolt in there. We just got to loosen up the clamp for a minute, but we're going to shove this guy in there, and this should do good enough for today. Obviously I just got to order that guy and we'll be good to go there, but next thing Seth's actually going to be doing while I'm doing that is, and it takes 2 seconds, is we got to upgrade our factory seal here for the airbox, because these guys do not seal very well at all.
What the hell is that?
The wiring?
What?
That's what I told you, dude. Look at it. It's got it going up and under the dash here. I don't like it. Trust me. You can't even get the thing open here.
Oh.
Look at it. He's got frayed wires here.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Yeah, it's good stuff is what it is, actually. So
Man, it's not a bad spot to put it, but
I know, actually, I was just like, hey, no, but he could have cut. I mean, look at
he could have ran this.
It wasn't him, I don't think. I think it was the previous owner too.
I mean, you just run this down,
I know, you
up, and ooh.
It was
All
a
right,
little
that's
bit
a little ugly.
But Seth's gonna go out ahead. I have my old airbox cover that already has the OMC cover seal on it. I'm actually gonna take another one off Melissa, so this cover is gonna go on Melissa's quad. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sell that with the OMC. All right, so got all the clutching taken care of. Everything's good to go there. Seth got the airbox cover on. I just tested that using our little method of just cutting off the air supply. If you want to check out how we do that, I'll link a little guide right over here, so you can check out our mudding 101 video. You do that test in that. Seth also went ahead and did this here, so this is just a safety tether, just in case we ever knock the key off. I'm not searching in the mud for it for hours. Makes it nice, and this one has like a little quick release on it, so this way I can still take the key out when I want to take it out. Obviously we had to add our LetDirtFly tags and also Killer B. So that's all set. Got our Dooplicator key on here because, like I said, this is actually the key from my quad, so everything's looking really good. She's basically all set to go. I think I might swap the bars real quick.
Okay, so we just transferred over the bars, transfer everything over, tighten everything down, so I believe she is ready to go.
All right, guys, so right now we're actually going to go ahead and head down to the swamp. But of course, if we're gonna have a 650, we might as well bring another 650. So Seth's got his wife's 650, and it's gonna be a 650 day of ripping. Even though he's got his 850 here, he'd obviously rather be on that thing. But he's gonna ride the 650, so this way we can see what these two can do with each other here. It should be pretty cool, and I think they're both gonna do awesome. So let's see what they got. All right, guys, if you can even hear me over Seth's 650, that thing is loud actually with that Yoshi pipe on there. But back on a 650 here, a tuned one, a modified one. Can't wait to see what this thing can do. Feels good, rides good. These are fun little quads. I let you guys down, I did. So we're back on a 650. So right now, Seth and I will catch you guys down when we get to the swamp. I'm gonna go this way first because I want to see how bad it bogs through there.
Okay.
All right, guys. The old swamp. I'm actually just gonna go through real quick here. I want to come through this way to see how much she bogs down. That thing sounds so nasty. That exhaust is loud. That thing is so loud. We're like rolling around literally at higher RPM than we were the other day, which is awesome. Let's see what she does in the soupy stuff here. I'm famous for knocking out of gear, so I'm making sure it's in gear. Got 76.
Flashback. End of flashback.
Oh yeah. No, I was saying I saw about 76, 77 under load.
Okay.
So, not terrible.
Not bad.
That thing is so rowdy sounding. This is just as rowdy, but I might put this head 17 spring in. Alright. my 650 should have been. It sucks. I messed up putting all that stuff on it. Just keeping it simple. This works so good. It's a simple CV Tech, white EPI secondary, spring, and some tires, and that's it. Need left-handed throttle. It's beaching.
How's you feel?
Much better than my 650 did.
Really?
I was just telling them that I messed up big time with mine. Just over modified it. It would have been so, even with the 32s, I feel like if I just tuned it right, didn't have the stupid STM on there, it would have been dialed.
I don't know.
This thing just screams. It's screaming at the same sounding RPM as that. It's just that thing's just yelling at you. I might tune it. I might put the 1017 in this just to help hold it better. So, but other than that, she seems good. Feels good.
Good.
Damn it. Something just happened. Oh, the secondary popped off. Remember I was saying the torque to yields?
Meanwhile,
This side is getting so deep. Dug the stick up.
Well, it's fun while it lasted. Still can't hear me. So how does that thing tow through mud?
What?
How good does that thing tow through mud?
What happened?
My secondary came off.
Guess we'll find out.
Man. Oh. Hang on. Let's see if I can kick it out of four-wheel drive. Alright, we'll catch you guys in a second here. We're almost back to the house. I went to go get the gas, I was like, I'm like, I know I heard you coming back, I said, well, that can't be good.
And folks, that concludes our 650 test for today.
Alright guys, pushed her back in the garage here. I'm not even going to bother pulling it apart today because it's already late in the day. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I have a feeling I'm going to have to get a belt because I had the belt all crooked in there now because of the secondary and I ran it for a minute. And then also, I'm sure the secondary springs toast, so that's $30 plus the belts, another almost 200 bucks. And nice mistake on Marshall's part. But since Seth's here already and he's geared up, I'm already geared up. Might as well grab my 850. Keep going. So we're just gonna keep.
650 versus 850 again, huh?
It's reversed though now. All right, no biggie.
Well, last week that was the same thing.
Oh yeah, true. We'll get her fixed. No big deal. All right, we're gonna head back down and play around. My stallion. Oh, I guess this video ends with me riding my old 650. The 650 that I started out the video saying I failed you guys and everything with, and I'm back on it because I broke the other one. Gonna have some fun on this bad boy now, and yeah, should be good. What is? What is he doing? Did he wreck? Nah. What's he got going on there? Did he scuff his wheels? What happened here? What happened? Your wheel fell off? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What is going on today?
I don't know,
but... Well, that's a problem.
You think?
That sounds like I'm going back to the house and grabbing a jack and...
I mean...
You didn't feel your tire doing the wibble wobble?
I thought I felt it a little bit over there, but I wasn't sure if it was just the mud.
Oh, this has aftermarket lug nuts too.
Yeah.
Fudge cakes. I thought you wrecked. I was just like, did he flip? I was just like, I don't see it flipped over. Dude, from where I was sitting, I did not see the tire laying there. Like, look, if you look over my quad is, I had the tree between me, so I was just like...
Yeah, all of a sudden I went up onto that, and then it was like, oh, that's really weird.
Yeah, popped your plastic out a little bit there, but that's easy. All right, so this ride is done. Yep. So we might finish it off here, folks. Let me get my phone out here, I guess. Eventful day, guys. So I broke the new 650. We'll get that fixed, easy fix. Except it's probably gonna be a bad spring and everything. I already know it. That's a brand new spring.
I don't know if it will be.
I hope not.
It shouldn't be.
I spun the secondary, so.
Yeah, but like you said, you know, the 850 had the pins, I believe.
True.
That's why it spun it.
I hope it's okay. So then, to top things off, you lost your wheel.
I did. I did. You might look to Instagram to find the picture of that.
Yes. So Seth somehow managed to forget to tighten it.
I don't know what happened because every other wheel was tight. So
I don't know. But yeah, so
and it held up through the mud, towing you out like all of a sudden. So I don't know.
It's weird. Maybe you just had him like slightly snugged or something.
I don't know.
But it seems okay. Now we just gotta fix that wheel spacer. No biggie.
Yeah.
So that's an easy repair. But that was definitely the end all of our day because we were.
Yeah.
We could still ride technically, but I gotta get cleaned up and ready for work tomorrow, and Seth has to do the same thing. I'm gonna clean my quad up and try to pull the other quad over here and get that thing.
Yeah. So you know what? It's a good point to stop.
Before some more stuff breaks.
You know what? It's a good point.
I still have to get axles for the front of that because I'm pretty sure they're on the way out.
Oh.
So.
Well, we'll see.
So with that, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. We really appreciate the support. Allows us to go out and break our crap, unfortunately, but it does allow us to do that. Seth, where can I catch us on the interwebs?
All right, you can catch us on Facebook and Instagram. Shoot us a message. We always try and respond. If you want to help us out by having us try out parts, anything like that, sending us stuff to fix our crap, hit us up at LetDirtFly, gmail.com, or on Instagram or anything else.
We'll have to catch you next time on
Let Dirt Fly.
Have you forgotten where